If there is one social media site slash application I will never use, it's TikTok for multiple reasons. One, I believe it to be a Chinese government spy tool. The other is the 2-minute time limit on the site means that for overly talkative people like me and that app, it's like oil and water. We don't mix. I'm overly talkative, long-winded, and would prefer to stretch my opinions out as opposed to being limited to just 2 minutes at a time. People like Marzgurl, on the other hand, view this as the perfect alternative safe space when people call her out here on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram. I'm even considering calling her out on Truth Social. Not that she'll ever use that app, because for me, that's going to be, I guess you could call it my safe space, as TikTok is hers. In my opinion, Mars Girl goes here because goes to TikTok because it's her way, her alternative way outside of Twitter to basically demand that conventions that had contracts with Vic breach their contracts, and throw them under the bus because she's just a petty little shrew. Now, I tried calling Heroes Convention, which is a con that happens 3 weeks after Collecticon, to see if they let Vic in, but unfortunately, no luck. Now, granted, it's not just him that's not allowed, it's voice actors across the board that are not allowed. No one on both sides, no VA on both sides are allowed to get in, are permitted in. It's strictly the convention is strictly only those who have a link, who have a link, and i.e., have either written or illustrated comic books. So yeah, this is one convention not even Kick Vic would be able to taint. But then again, we can't have our voices. Heroes Convention is also a convention we can't have our voices heard at either. And I'm pretty sure Squally looked at it too when she called up and they told her the same thing. I only found out now. And the only other con in the Carolinas I knew Vic was going to show up at, he had to back out of due to a scheduling conflict and the fact that his back anime contract rolled over. Let me ask Collecticon on Charlotte, why is it you chose to bend the knee and throw him out? Why not follow the back anime example and be there for the fans who are going to show up and for the thousands of fans who want to see Vic and will show up if he's there, as opposed to the few hundred or so, few dozen, hundred, or even few dozen who will not show up and hate his guts and use virtue signaling just as a false excuse to justify keeping him out. Why, Collecticon? And I'm pretty sure you did this with the Fort Worth stop at the end of the month, at the end of this month. I want to know why you are so willing to bend your knee to a minority mob of left-wing hacks who don't give a damn about who don't practice what they preach, who are nothing but hypocrites. Let me grab something to prove my point. And this is how I view these individuals like Marzgurl. But woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you shut up the kingdom of heaven against men, for you neither go in yourselves, nor do you allow those who are entering to go in. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayers. Therefore you will receive greater condemnation. Woe to you, blind guides, who say, whoever swears by the temple, it is nothing. But whoever swears by the gold of the temple, he is obliged to perform it. Fools and blind, which is greater, the gold or the temple that sanctifies the gold? And whoever swears by the altar, it is nothing. But whoever swears by the gift that is on it, he is obliged to perform it. Fools and blind, for which is greater, the gift or the altar that sanctifies it? Therefore, he who swears by the altar swears by it and by all things on it. He who swears by the temple swears by it and by him who dwells in it. And he who swears by heaven swears by the throne of God and by him who sits on it. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you pay tithes of mint, anise or dillweed, and cumin, and have neglected the weightier matters of the law: justice, mercy, and faith. Those you ought to have done without leaving the others undone. Blind guides who strain out a gnat and swallow a camel. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you cleanse the outside of the cup and dish, but inside are full of extortion and self-indulgence, greed, if for those wondering what extortion means. Blind Pharisee, first cleanse the inside of the cup and dish, that the outside of them may also be clean. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you are like whitewashed tombs, which appear beautiful outwardly, but inside are full of dead men's bones and all uncleanliness. Even so, you outwardly appear righteous to men, but inside you are full of hypocrisy and lawlessness. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! Because you build the tombs of the prophets and adorn the monuments of the righteous, and say, if we lived in the days of our fathers, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets. Therefore, you witness against yourselves that you are sons of those who murdered the prophets. Fill up then the measure of your father's guilt. Serpents, brood of vipers, how can you escape the condemnation of hell? Therefore I send you prophets, wise men, and scribes. Some of you will kill and crucify. Others you will scourge in your synagogues and persecute from city to city, that on you may come all righteous blood shed on the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel to the blood of Zechariah, son of Berechiah, whom you murdered between the temple and the altar. Assuredly, I say to thee, these things will come upon this generation. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the one who kills the prophets and stones those sent to her. How often I want to gather your children together as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, but you are not willing. See, your house is left to you desolate. For I say to you, you shall see me no more till you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Matthew 23:13 through 39, New King James Version. I haven't done that in many a year. And Marzgurl is the leader of that brood of serpents, brood of vipers, the Caiaphas. And what happened to him? Upon his own death, he ended up in hell. All of his outward piety, all of his outward virtuosity, all of his outward holiness didn't mean a damn thing when he went in the grave, because inwardly he was nothing more than a snake. he was nothing more than a hypocrite. And that's what you are, Marzgurl. Nothing but a damned hypocrite. You don't care for legit victims like Duncan, who basically got threatened to drop his allegations by Damon Mills and the Crunchy Cabal. Even your own boss was threatened by said cabal to get rid of the Damon Mills story. But thankfully, Jeff Sayin, the deluded dragon, saved enough legit evidence to prove that Crunchyroll is lying. And that Damon Mills is a scumbag. You abuse your power in the same way they did. Did Vic ever abuse it? Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure many other members of Crunchyroll had done the same. We know Chris Sabat, Marzgurl, Jamie Marchi, John Michael Tatum, Ernesto Liebrecht, Chris Patton, Greg Ayers, Chris Rager, Josh Martin, Elizabeth Maxwell, Miles Luna, Jen Brown. I mean, yes, technically they're Rooster Teeth, but the point still applies. Christina V. Michael and Lindsay Jones, as much as I hate to throw that couple under the bus. Aaron Zach, Barbara Dunkelman. Maybe Kara Eberly. Maybe, but I don't know about her. All of them at one point or another. I mean, all of you at one point or another abused your stations of power. And you're the worst of the worst, Marzgurl. All you care about is making Vic's life a living hell, making it impossible for him to ever get into another convention. Isolating him. What you've done is disgusting. And I found out that you probably were the cause of him getting canceled from Collecticon last night. When I asked Vic personally on his Twitch stream, I got it right out of the horse's mouth. And I'm pretty sure you had a hand in it. So why don't you come back here on YouTube and explain yourself, you cowardly snake? Oh, wait. You're not going to. Instead, you're going to hide on TikTok like the cowardly little witch you are. Knowing full well I'd never use that app. You've already blocked me on Twitter. You've blocked me on Facebook. And I've in turn done the same to you, but that being said, why should anyone believe any of your bullshit anymore, Marzgurl? Everything you've ever said was a lie. No more, no less. I wonder if I still have the Collecticon number on here. Let's see. No, that's James's number. I think that's Annie's. So I asked the convention ops, many of the con ops, why is it you don't want to follow the examples of, say, Anime Matsuri, Bach Anime, Revolution Fest? I'm saying that to every convention across the country. Why is it you choose to bend the knee to people who have no power and influence over who you should bring in. It's a simple question. Why? Why do you bend the knee to a bunch of pigs who have who should have no say over who gets in or out, who gets into your con, and who should be thrown out of it? And those who have breached their contracts, I'm really hoping Vic sues you. I stand with Vic, now then forever. Leave a comment, smash the like button, sub to this channel when you get a chance, if you want to sub. That's 2128 signing out. Till next time, goodbye and good night. Bang.